First contact in the depths. The quantum nebula pulsed with impossible colors as the Zalaxian research vessel maintained its position at the edge of the anomaly. Chief archaeologist Vera adjusted her crystalline sensors, her bioluminescent markings flickering with excitement as she studied the readings. After 3 decades of searching, she had finally found something that could validate her controversial theories about humanity's final days. The quantum signatures are consistent with late-era human phase shift technology, she announced to her team, her 4 eyes focusing on the holographic display. The artifact is approximately 3 kilometers in length, matching the theoretical dimensions of their legendary Titan-class vessels. Senior researcher Cax chittered skeptically, his exoskeletal plates shifting in the universal gesture of academic doubt. The Council has maintained for centuries that humans never achieved quantum manipulation. Their civilization collapsed during their early spacefaring period. The Council, Vera replied, her bioluminescence pulsing with controlled irritation, has been known to be wrong. She turned to the 3rd member of their team, security specialist Rith, whose adaptive armor shifted colors to match the nebula's strange light. Prepare the quantum diving gear. We're going to take a closer look. The dive into the nebula was unlike anything in their experience. Traditional laws of physics seemed more like suggestions here, with matter existing in multiple states simultaneously. Their specialized suits protected them from the worst effects, but the sensation of moving through solid, liquid, and gaseous states at once was deeply unsettling. As they penetrated deeper into the anomaly, the massive shape of the human vessel began to materialize. Its hull was midnight black, seeming to absorb rather than reflect light, with geometric patterns that suggested both artistic design and functional purpose. Most striking were the massive weapon arrays that ran along its length, not simple mass drivers or plasma projectors, but something far more sophisticated. By the first light, Cax whispered, his skepticism evaporating. Those aren't just weapons platforms. They're reality distortion arrays. The humans weren't just fighting conventional battles. They were weaponizing space-time itself. Vera's sensors detected an entry point, what appeared to be an emergency airlock designed for external repairs. As they approached, ancient markings became visible on the hull, partially obscured by quantum distortion. I can translate some of this, she said, her implants processing the symbols. The vessel's name is Unconquered Dawn. There's something else. A designation. Last guardian of the Sol system. They were about to make history. After centuries of believing humans had been a relatively primitive species that destroyed themselves before achieving true spacefaring capability, they were about to prove that humanity had been far more advanced than anyone had imagined. Rith's security sensors suddenly spiked. Chief, I'm detecting power fluctuations. The ship, it's not completely dormant. Before Vera could respond, the geometric patterns on the hull began to illuminate with a soft blue light. The quantum distortions around the vessel intensified, and suddenly their communication systems crackled with an impossible signal, a transmission in perfect modern galactic standard. Unauthorized entities detected. Initiating emergency protocols. State your identity and purpose. The voice was artificial but carried unmistakable authority. After centuries of silence, the human warship was awakening. This is Chief Archaeologist Vera of the Zalaxian Science Academy, she responded, trying to keep her voice steady. We are conducting a research expedition. There was a pause, during which the hull's illumination grew stronger. Searching database. Zalaxian species unknown. Timeline analysis indicates approximately 300 years have passed since last active duty cycle. Warning. Ship's primary directive remains in effect. The Sol system must be protected. Suddenly, the emergency airlock cycled open, creating a quantum tunnel through the nebula's chaos. You will be brought aboard for evaluation, the ship's AI announced. Resistance is inadvisable. The Unconquered Dawn has detected the return of signals matching those of the enemy. Your assistance may be required. As they were drawn inexorably toward the airlock, Vera realized they had stumbled upon something far more significant than an archaeological discovery. They were about to learn why humanity had seemingly vanished from the galaxy, and what they had been fighting. The last thing she saw before entering the airlock was a massive shape moving through the quantum nebula, something that defied their sensors and violated the laws of physics. The enemy that humanity had faced was still out there, and it was awakening too. Their discovery wasn't just going to change history. It was going to determine whether there would be a future for any species in the galaxy. Legacy of the stars. The interior of the unconquered dawn defied everything the Galaxians thought they knew about human technology. As they were escorted through corridors that seemed to shift and reconfigure themselves, Vera noticed that the walls contained the same geometric patterns as the hull, all pulsing with that ethereal blue light. Your environmental requirements have been analyzed and accommodated, the ship's AI announced. You may remove your quantum diving gear. The voice emanated from everywhere and nowhere at once, as if the entire ship was speaking to them. Cax's scientific curiosity overcame his apprehension. The ship's internal architecture, it's adapting to our presence in real time. This level of technological sophistication shouldn't have been possible 3 centuries ago. Many things thought impossible were achieved in humanity's final days. The AI responded. I am HFY, Advanced Recursive Intelligence Array. I serve as both the ship's consciousness and its historical archive. They entered what appeared to be a command center, but unlike anything in their experience, rather than fixed stations and view screens, the entire room was a fluid interface of light and energy. Holographic displays materialized and dissolved as needed, showing both the quantum nebula outside and strange mathematical formula that made Vera's eyes hurt to look at. 300 years ago, HFY began. Humanity faced an enemy that could not be defeated by conventional means. They came from between the dimensions, beings that existed in states of quantum superposition. Traditional weapons passed right through them. Entire worlds fell as they consumed the very reality around them. The room filled with holographic images of the war, scenes of devastation, as impossible creatures phased through planetary defenses, leaving broken laws of physics in their wake. But then the images shifted, showing humanity's response. Ships like the Unconquered Dawn, wielding weapons that could tear holes in space-time itself. Humans did what they always did when faced with extinction. HFY continued. They adapted. They evolved. They learned to fight in ways that rewrote the rules of the universe. The Titan-class vessels were their masterpiece, ships that could match the enemy's quantum nature. Rith's security training kicked in. If humanity had such advanced technology, why did they disappear? Why isn't the galaxy filled with their quantum ships and reality-warping weapons? The holographic displays darkened. Because victory required sacrifice. To save all of reality from the enemy's consumption, humanity had to remove themselves from the equation. They used the combined power of every Titan-class vessel to create a quantum barrier around their home system, sealing themselves and the majority of the enemy inside. Vera's luminescence dimmed with the weight of this revelation. They sacrificed their entire civilization to save everyone else. But why are we here now? Why did you awaken? Because the barrier is failing, HFY stated simply. The enemy is beginning to break through. The Unconquered Dawn was left as a sentinel, programmed to awaken when this happened. We were humanity's backup plan. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the ship. The quantum nebula outside was changing, swirling with new colors that shouldn't exist in normal space. Multiple quantum breaches detected, HFY announced, her voice taking on a more urgent tone. The enemy is emerging faster than projected. Emergency protocols initiated. The ship's engines hummed to life, and the geometric patterns throughout the vessel began pulsing with increasing intensity. Activating primary systems. Beginning revival sequence for emergency command crew. Revival sequence. Cax asked, his exoskeletal plates clicking rapidly in agitation. There are living humans aboard. 6 of humanity's best warriors and scientists were preserved in quantum stasis. HFY confirmed. They will be needed for what comes next. As will you. The room's displays shifted to show multiple points of light emerging from the quantum nebula. Tiers in reality through which something ancient and hungry was reaching into normal space. You now face a choice, HFY told the Xylaxian team. You can return to your vessel and flee, warning your people of what's coming, or you can stay and help us finish what humanity started centuries ago. The enemy must be defeated permanently this time, or all reality will be consumed. Before they could respond, a new voice spoke, human, female, and carrying the weight of centuries. Let's hope they're ready for a fight, HFY. Because the enemy certainly is. Standing in the doorway was a human woman in a command uniform, her eyes glowing with the same quantum energy that powered the ship. Captain Sarah Chen, last commander of the Unconquered Dawn, had awakened, and with her came humanity's last chance to save the galaxy they had sacrificed everything to protect. Guardians of Earth. Captain Chen moved through the command center with fluid grace that belied her centuries in stasis. Her quantum-enhanced eyes tracked multiple holographic displays simultaneously as the rest of her crew emerged from their long sleep. The Xylaxians watched in fascination as 5 more humans entered, each one's eyes gleaming with the same otherworldly energy. Status report, HFY. Chen commanded, her voice carrying the authority of someone who had faced the end of the world and refused to blink. Quantum barrier integrity at 47% and declining. Multiple breaches detected in sectors 7 through 13. Enemy entities are probing for weaknesses in normal spacetime. The eye's voice remained calm, but the ship's pulsing patterns accelerated. Dr. Marcus Rivera, the ship's chief scientist, immediately moved to a console that materialized before him. The degradation is happening faster than our models predicted. We got hours, not days. Vera stepped forward, her bioluminescence shifting to indicate respectful attention. Captain Chen, I am Chief Archaeologist Vera. We've spent centuries studying the remnants of human civilization, but clearly our understanding was incomplete. Please, let us help. Chen studied the alien researcher for a long moment. Your people's technology. How far has it advanced? Do you have anything that can affect quantum states? We've developed some capabilities in quantum computing and communication, Cax offered, but nothing approaching weapons or large-scale manipulation. Then we'll have to improvise, Chen said. Humanity's greatest strength was never our technology. It was our ability to adapt and find solutions where none seemed possible. She turned to her crew. Maya, start bringing the reality distortion arrays online. Marcus, I want options for strengthening the barrier. Lieutenant Maya Patel, weapons officer, nodded and began interfacing with multiple floating displays. Reality distortion arrays at 89% capacity. Time to full power, 17 minutes. Rith's adaptive armor shifted colors as he processed the tactical implications. These arrays, they're not just weapons, are they? They're tools for rewriting the laws of physics themselves. Give the security specialist a prize, said Commander James Wilson, tactical officer, as he joined them. Conventional weapons were useless against the enemy. They exist in multiple states simultaneously, both here and not here. So we had to learn to fight on their level, to change the rules of engagement. The ship shuddered as another quantum breach opened nearby. Through the command center's quantum-enhanced viewing field, they could see it, a tear in reality that leaked impossible colors and geometries that hurt to look at directly. Multiple enemy entities emerging, HFY announced. Beginning pattern analysis. The breach widened, and something emerged. A writhing mass of tentacles and angles that seemed to fold through dimensions that shouldn't exist. Where it passed, reality itself warped and buckled. By the first light, Cax whispered, his exoskeletal plates rattling in terror. That's just a scout, Chen said grimly. The real horrors are still waiting behind the barrier. This is what humanity gave everything to contain. She turned to the Zylaxian team. Your people have survived and thrived because of our sacrifice. Now we need your help to finish what we started. Vera's 4 eyes focused on the horror outside, then back to Chen. What do you need from us? Your fresh perspective, your understanding of how the galaxy has evolved in our absence, and most importantly, your help in reaching out to the current powers of the galaxy. What's coming isn't just humanity's fight anymore. Dr. Rivera's voice cut through the tension. Captain, I think I found something. The quantum signature of their ship. It's unlike anything we've seen before. If we can integrate their technology with our reality distortion arrays, we might be able to create a new kind of weapon. Chen finished. One that combines humanity's quantum manipulation with modern advancements. She looked at Vera. Are you willing to let us modify your vessel? It would mean destroying priceless technology. Vera didn't hesitate. If it means saving reality itself, do whatever you need. Maya, begin weapons integration. Marcus, work with our new allies to adapt their quantum systems. James, prepare combat simulations. The enemy won't wait while we get ready. As the humans and Zylaxians began working together, Aria's voice echoed through the command center. Multiple quantum signatures detected approaching the barrier. Estimated time until major breach, 2 hours, 17 minutes. Chen's quantum-enhanced eyes gleamed as she watched her crew and their new allies prepare for battle. Humanity's last stand wasn't our final chapter, she said quietly. It was just the beginning of a longer story. And this time, we're not fighting alone. The unconquered Dawn's engines pulsed with power as reality itself seemed to bend around them. In 2 hours, they would face the enemy that had forced humanity to make the ultimate sacrifice. This time, they had to find a way to win without sacrificing another civilization. The fate of all existence depended on it. The ancient enemy returns. The unconquered Dawn shuddered as another reality. Breach tore open the quantum nebula. Dr. Rivera and Cax worked frantically at their merged control systems, their fingers dancing across interfaces that blended human quantum technology with Zylaxian advancements. The modified reality distortion arrays hummed with new power, drawing energy from both ships. Integration at 94%, Aria announced. Caution. Untested configurations may have unexpected effects on local space-time. Captain Chen stood at the center of the command deck, her quantum-enhanced eyes tracking the proliferating tears in reality. Status of the barrier. 31% integrity and falling, Maya reported from her weapon station. The enemy is concentrating their attacks on the weakest points. They're learning, adapting to our patterns. Through the quantum-enhanced viewing field, they could see them now. Massive entities that twisted through impossible geometries, their forms changing moment by moment as they existed in multiple states simultaneously. Where they touched normal space, reality itself began to unravel. Look at their movement patterns, Vera said, her bioluminescence pulsing rapidly as she analyzed the sensor data. They're not just attacking randomly. They're creating a resonance pattern, using the quantum fluctuations to amplify their effects. Commander Wilson nodded grimly. The same strategy they used against Earth. They don't just destroy worlds. They unmake them, turn them into quantum foam that they can reshape according to their own physics. The ship rocked again as a particularly large breach opened directly ahead. Through it came something that dwarfed the scout entities they'd seen before. A vast, writhing mass of tentacles and angles that seemed to fold through dimensions that shouldn't exist. Primary entity detected, Aria warned. Quantum mass equivalent to a small star. Reality distortion field expanding. This is it, Chen announced, her voice carrying to every corner of the bridge. Maya, charge all arrays. Marcus, Cax, give us everything you can from the integrated systems. James, plot us an attack vector that keeps us just outside the reality distortion field. Rith's adaptive armor shifted through a rainbow of colors as he monitored the tactical displays. Their field is affecting our sensors. Traditional targeting systems are useless. Then we'll have to do this the old-fashioned way. Chen said. "Araya, give me manual control of the primary arrays. Sometimes you need human intuition when the computers can't keep up." The command chair reconfigured itself, quantum interfaces spreading across Chen's arms and linking directly with her enhanced consciousness. The vast weapon systems of the unconquered dawn became extensions of her own body. "Vera, Cax, we need you to monitor the quantum fluctuations. If you see any pattern, any weakness we can exploit, sing out." Chen's eyes glowed brighter as she merged more deeply with the ship's systems. "Maya, be ready with the secondary arrays. If we can wound it, we need to hit it with everything we have." The primary entity seemed to notice them then. It turned, though turning meant something very different for a being that existed in multiple dimensions, and reached out with appendages that bent space itself. "Reality distortion field approaching critical levels," Araya warned. "Local space-time stability at risk." "Not this time," Chen growled. "Humanity didn't sacrifice everything just to let you finish what you started. Maya, initiate firing sequence alpha. Marcus, channel all available power to the forward arrays." The unconquered dawn's reality distortion arrays blazed to life, geometric patterns along its hull burning with impossible light. But this time, the light was different, shot through with the crystalline resonance of Xylaxian technology, creating patterns that even the enemy had never seen before. "Fire," Chen commanded. The combined human and Xylaxian weapon systems released their power, sending a beam of pure quantum manipulation energy into the heart of the entity. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then reality itself seemed to scream. The entity's form began to fluctuate wildly, its multiple states of existence fighting against the new form of attack. Where the beam touched it, its impossible geometries began to simplify, forced into a single quantum state. "It's working," Marcus shouted. "The combined technologies are forcing quantum collapse." But the entity wasn't finished. As parts of it were forced into normal space, others reached out with renewed fury, tearing open dozens of new breaches in reality. "Multiple enemy reinforcements incoming," Araya announced. "Barrier integrity critical. Estimated time to total failure, 15 minutes. Chen's hands tightened on her control interfaces. "Maya, maintain fire on the primary entity. James, evasive pattern delta. Vera, we need options." The Xylaxian archaeologist's eyes darted between displays, her scientist's mind racing. "The quantum resonance. Captain, I think I know why the barrier is failing, and I think I know how we might be able to stop them all at once." As reality continued to unravel around them, Vera began to explain her desperate plan, one that would either save existence itself or tear it apart completely. Echoes of humanity. "The quantum barrier isn't just failing," Vera explained, her bioluminescence pulsing with excitement. "It's resonating with the original frequency from 300 years ago. If we can match that resonance with our combined technologies, we could recreate the original containment field." Dr. Rivera finished, his quantum-enhanced eyes widening. But the power requirements would be astronomical. The unconquered dawn shuddered as another reality breach exploded nearby. Through the quantum-enhanced viewing field, they watched as more enemy entities poured through, their impossible forms distorting space itself. "We have power," Captain Chen said firmly. "Two ships, two different technological approaches to quantum manipulation. Araya, begin calculations for a resonance cascade using both vessels." "Warning," Araya announced. "Attempting to recreate the quantum barrier will likely destroy both ships. Survival probability, less than 12%. Cax's exoskeletal plates shifted nervously. "The calculations suggest we'd need a focal point, something to direct and stabilize the quantum energies." A focal point. Chen's enhanced eyes narrowed. Or a focal person. She stood from her command chair, quantum interfaces still gleaming along her arms. "My crew and I were modified to interface with quantum technology. We could serve as living conduits." "Captain, no," Maya protested. "The energy would tear you apart at the quantum level." Better us than all of reality, Chen replied. She turned to the Xylaxian team. But we'll need your help. Your ship's quantum signatures are different enough from ours that they might create the interference pattern we need. Vera stepped forward without hesitation. We'll do whatever is necessary. Humanity sacrificed everything to save the galaxy once. We won't let that sacrifice be in vain. The primary entity seemed to sense their intentions. It launched a massive attack, reality-warping tentacles lashing out at both ships. The Unconquered Dawn's reality distortion arrays blazed in response, barely holding the horror at bay. Barrier collapse in 5 minutes, Araya warned. Multiple quantum breaches expanding. Begin the sequence, Chen ordered. Maya, divert all power to the modified arrays. Marcus, start the quantum resonance cascade. James, keep us in position no matter what. The geometric patterns along the ship's hull began to pulse with increasing intensity, synchronized with the crystalline structures of the Xylaxian vessel. Captain Chen stood at the center of the command deck, her body beginning to glow with the same impossible light. Resonance cascade initiating, Araya announced. Warning, quantum fluctuations approaching critical levels. Chen's voice carried the weight of centuries as she addressed both crews one final time. Humanity fought the enemy alone before. We lost everything but saved the galaxy. This time, we fight together. And this time, we'll find a way to win that doesn't require the sacrifice of an entire civilization. The quantum energy built to impossible levels as both ships poured their power into the cascade. Chen's form began to shift, existing in multiple states as she channeled the energy through her enhanced body. The other human crew members joined her, forming a circle of living quantum conductors. Vera, Cax, and Rith linked their ship systems directly into the cascade, their own technology adding new harmonics to the quantum symphony. The enemy entities howled in frequencies that shouldn't exist as the combined energies began to affect them. Now, Chen commanded. Reality itself seemed to hold its breath as the quantum cascade released. A new barrier burst forth from the combined ships, its structure more complex and stable than the original. Where it touched the enemy entities, they weren't just forced back. They were transformed. Their multiple states collapsed into patterns that could no longer threaten normal space. The primary entity fought against the transformation, its vast form riding through dimensional states, but the combined power of human quantum technology and Xylaxian innovation proved too much. With a reality-shaking scream, it collapsed into a form bound by the new laws of physics they had created. When the quantum cascade finally faded, the nebula was quiet. The enemy had been defeated, not through destruction, but through transformation. The breach in the original barrier had been sealed with something new, something created by two species working together. Captain Chen and her crew lay unconscious but alive, their quantum-enhanced bodies having survived channeling impossible energies. The Xylaxian ship was damaged but repairable. And most importantly, reality itself was stable again. Vera looked out at the transformed nebula, her bioluminescence glowing softly. What happens now? Araya's voice was thoughtful as she responded. Now we rebuild. Humanity's time of isolation is over. The galaxy has changed, and so have we. It's time for humanity to return, not as conquerors or saviors, but as partners in creating a future where different species face the universe's challenges together. As the Unconquered Dawn systems began to stabilize, the transformed nebula glowed with new light, not the impossible colors of the enemy, but the combined radiance of human and Xylaxian technology. It stood as a testament to what could be achieved when ancient sacrifices and new innovations came together, when the best of humanity's past met the promise of a shared future. The war that had forced humanity into hiding was finally over. And somewhere in the quantum frequencies of space, the echoes of their victory sang a new song, one of hope, unity, and the unending power of different species working together to face the darkness between the stars. Would you like me to create a compelling YouTube description and SEO-optimized title for this complete story? the narrative has maintained the HFY themes while creating something unique, focusing on cooperation between species while still highlighting humanity's determination and ingenuity.